Hi, welcome to the 8 Chords 100 Songs free mini course. I'm Eric Roberts. Thank you for subscribing to the newsletter and for giving it a shot. Today, we're going to learn a few great things, get you playing some chords, and you're on your way to playing great songs. We're going to start off today with the intro to a chord chart. You can see on the bottom of the page here on the website that there are 6 lines going down. Those are the strings, and there are lines going across representing the frets. The frets are these little lines, metal things going across, dividing your neck. Okay? Just want to remind you that whenever you push down on a fret, you want to push down as close to the front of the fret as you can with your finger. Okay, so if you're trying to push down on the 3rd fret, you count up 1, 2, 3, and then push down as close to that 3rd fret, almost on top of it as you can. Okay? Let's talk about holding the pick. When you hold the pick, you open up your hand and put your pick on it just like this. Okay, your pick is just sitting there on your finger, it's pointing straight out. Then you take your thumb and sit it down, take your hand, move it around, and lay it straight down like this. Now, your hand will be straight. You will not have a bend in your wrist or any weird thing going like this. Bend your wrist out, but your wrist will just lay straight down. Your pinky, your hand open, be on the guitar. A lot of beginners claw up their hand like this, and they just have a lot of pick hanging out, and they just kind of flop their hand like this. We won't do any of that. What we're going to do, hold our hand out like this, pick pointing straight out, thumb on top, and then reach right down here with open hand and pinky down on the guitar. It's important to do that. Now let's talk about our left hand. I have a 4-part process that makes this easy, and you will be able to play a G chord. If you have ever been trying to play a G chord before and you look like this, or you're shoving your elbow in, or you're trying to reach in, that's over. Today that's over. What we're going to do is a 4-part process. First of all, your hand should always look like it's holding a ball, and it's nice and curved, and you should always have a straight wrist. Not a lot of bend in your wrist. So with that in mind, let's get started with building the G chord. First of all, we're going to open our hand up. We're going to line up our knuckles underneath the thing, the neck. So you're going to open your hand. That's step 1. You're going to line up your knuckles, the under part of your knuckles, around the 3rd fret up here towards the top. You're going to grab, that's number 3, grab, just like a baseball bat. You're going to just grab on your neck. And then from this position, you're going to tilt your hand down. Leave this touching here, leave your thumb on, sort of like you're grabbing the neck like that. But after you've done grabbed, you're going to tilt your hand down. Okay? Now that is my 4-step process. Open up, line up, grab, and tilt. And when you tilt, you're going to notice my hand is in perfect position to play G chord. Okay? My hand is in perfect position to play the G chord. Once I open up, line up, grab, and tilt, I'm in a perfect position. Now let's build this G chord from the beginning. Look down at the bottom of the screen. You can see that your 2nd finger, or your middle finger, is going to go on the 3rd fret on the top string. So open up, line up, grab, tilt, and your 2nd finger is right there on the 3rd fret. Okay? You see how I have a nice tilt and my fingers are heading that way, down there. Now this 1st finger is going to go right underneath it. Right underneath it on the 2nd fret. So you have this, and then your 3rd finger is going to go right up underneath that, and this is where your tilt helps. You're not going to scrunch your fingers up like this, but as you tilt, you can see how my fingers are all lined up there. And then your pinky right up underneath that. Now that is the G chord, and you can strum the whole thing holding your pick correctly. You get a good sound. You can also take and test each one, see if you can get each note. Now as a beginner, you're probably going to hear something, or you might hear something like this. And if you do, a few things that you can do is just check and make sure that your hand is all holding the ball. None of your fingers are laying flat. A lot of beginners have a hard time keeping this finger from collapsing. So you want to keep that in a ball, and a lot of people, like I said, they collapse their fingers onto the neck, so it mutes the strings. So the idea is to push close to the fret, open up, line up, grab, tilt back, put your fingers where they're supposed to be, and push down with a good firm pressure. Not too much, just enough to make a sound. Alright, let's go ahead and make the C chord and the D chord. We're going to review those, and then you can look at the sheet today and on the website here, and you can learn G, C, D, and E minor. It's pretty easy. So from a G chord, what we're going to do with the C chord, it's easy to do. You just take your 2 fingers off and move them down to the next set of strings. Okay? So you're at G here, you're at C here. Barely moving anything. Just picking those up, G, and then you pick this up and go to C. So you're not going to move a lot. So you see how I did that? I just took my 2 fingers, picked them up, moved them straight down. Now I have a C chord. Okay? It's important to note on your chord chart too that sometimes, like on the C chord, you're going to mute that top string. You don't want it to sound out, so you don't want it to sound like this. So what I do is just with my thumb, I just reach up and touch it to where you can see I'm plucking it, but nothing's happening. That's a mute. Okay, let's move on to the D chord, and not moving the 3rd finger at all. You leave it there. You just move these 2 fingers down in, and you tilt a little more drastically, and you have a D chord. So here's what a D chord looks like. To build it from the beginning, you would just take your 1st finger, put it here, your 2nd finger, put it under. That's where the tilt comes in. And you put your 3rd finger in the middle. You have a D chord. So, okay, your assignment this week before we get into part 2 of our free mini course is to try to learn the G, C, and D. Learn good posture, learn to hold that pick, and just start to strum down. Just begin to strum down, because number 2 of the mini course is strumming and strumming patterns. If you have any questions, go to my website, email me at eric@8chords100songs.com. I appreciate you doing this. I pray for God's blessing on your life and on your guitar. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time, you'll be receiving your part 2 in just a few short days. God bless.